Hello guys and gals, me Mutahar. Today we're looking at a conspiracy theory that I didn't even expect to be a conspiracy theory, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this pertains to my disdain for a lot of mainstream news services, a lot of YouTubers, conspiratoids on the internet, people who like to pretend that they care about the truth, but they absolutely don't. Now, the reason I'm making this video is I actually saw a video that tilted me so much, I jumped off tilted towers, so to speak, because you know the thing that drives me insane when people are so confident about something they have little information about, okay? So when people talk about computers or the internet or network packets or just basic computer lingo and have no clue but like to be the absolute arbiters of intelligence, and people believe them, drives me insane. Now, to understand, ladies and gentlemen, the actual person we're talking about today is the plane lady. Now, you might have seen her a bit. I showed her last month where we were talking about this, plane incident where she claimed to have seen somebody, on the plane that, that person is not real, okay? Now, ladies and gentlemen, this individual over here, all right, I didn't even take too much out of it, just simply because of the fact that, it was a harmless video. She obviously had a mental health issue. She had a mental health moment, so to speak, which there's no shame in that. People tend to have it. I hope that if I ever have a moment, it's never captured on camera, shared around, and made memes out of. Now, even though that she was a target of memes for a couple weeks, I genuinely didn't think there was any reason for the mainstream media to dig up her name, dig up her workplace, and make life bad for her. Now, there was more footage that came out where obviously she was confronted by law enforcement agents at the airport she was in. And, again, this is a mental health episode, all right? And the memes that came out of it, I think a lot of people could have just simply laughed at. She did as well. She said, some of them were funny. Some of them got to the point where, family members, people close by were, it wasn't good, all right? Simple as that. Now, of course, she made an apology video, which is hilarious to me because there are people that actually should make apology videos. People like FouseyTube. But she ended up coming out making probably one of the most mature apologies that I've ever seen. Let's listen to it.
Hi everyone, it's me, Tiffany Gomez, probably better known as the Crazy Plane Lady, which is completely warranted. As you know, I have been unwilling to speak on the viral video, but I do finally feel that it's time. First and foremost, I want to take full accountability for my actions. They were completely unacceptable. Distressed or not, I should have been in control of my emotions, and that was not the case.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, from what I understand, she's like an executive, so she's not, small potatoes. She just had an episode. It is what it is. Now, again, I don't understand what the point of the apology really is. It's not like she did anything nefarious. It's not like she was absolutely being an asshole to somebody. I mean, I'm sure that, this is something that could easily have been resolved, and it is what it is. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is one of those things where, again, it's not like she destroyed something in the world. It's not like she harmed anybody. It's not like she committed some grave sin that was even warranted of an apology. She had a mental health episode, and that's pretty much what it came down to. I guess the only thing that I would want from this situation is to just kind of ask, what was there? Who was the thing that wasn't real? Again, if this is just a mental health episode, because that's pretty much what I want to, that's pretty much what it comes down to. Sometimes things are not, any further than what they really are. But of course, like all things in 2023, there's a conspiracy out of everything. Now, there's been conspiracies that have been propping up. People have said lasers are attacking us from above. Again, sometimes I want to know what the conspiracy is in this situation. The conspiracy here is that apparently this apology is not the same person from the video. Yeah, that's an actual real conspiracy, ladies and gentlemen. Just to start off and joke, you've got, Sneeko over here, Leeko, if you will, too, comes out, says, that's not real. She went on cruise for a month. Come back with an AI apology. MK Ultra, CIA. Might want to toss a few other three-letter agencies in there, my friend. Sneeko, who has no idea how a traction control system works in a modern muscle car, decides to show an MS Paint screenshot thrown into simple face compare and says that there's a 52% chance of comparison. Now, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give Sneeko a bit of charity here. I think he's actually just unintelligible. All right, I don't think he has any idea what he's talking about. I don't want to give Sneeko enough credit to say that he's actually blatantly spreading disinformation out of harm. I don't think he's intelligent enough to do that on a personal level. But again, he might surprise me at some point. What kind of shocks me is what you're about to see next here, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real problem that I get. So, of course, Vision for the Blind, pro-truth account, exposing evils hidden in plain sight. You know, some Bible, verse, I guess, here. You buying? This is the same person? Yeah, I am actually from the face, okay, ladies and gentlemen. It's not really that shocking. I believe there was some further analysis on tattoos that pretty much proved it was the same person. What you're about to see next is some of the most Dunning-Kruger effect shit that I've ever fucking seen.
Yeah, I remember that girl who freaked out on a plane. You know, she was like, oh, that guy is not real. Remember that?
So, first off, I want to start off by saying this is the TikTok account here. It's actually different than the person, posting this on X. Not only is this not the same person, but someone ran a trace route on her website, and it runs through a Washington, D.C. email.
She's got a website now. So I ran a trace route to tiffanygomez.com, and there's a lot of weird shit going on with this IP addressing. It runs through Washington, D.C. 12 level3.net, and it ends up on a 192.185.189. Like, 192 address is a default subnet address that you have on your home router. So, like...
Okay, Tor Ghost NG, let me explain basics to you, okay? 192.168 would be a default. This, ladies and gentlemen, is not necessarily somebody's private beyond their router address. This is still very much publicly facing. Now, the other thing is, she created a website, obviously, to host her apology. Don't know why she did it, but it seems like, obviously, it's just a WordPress website, okay? Nothing really shocking in this situation. So if you actually look into it, the URL is tiffanygomez.com, okay? Gomez. I hope I'm not mispronouncing anything. Now, I'm going to show you what a traceroute does, ladies and gentlemen. I'm going to open up a console here real quick, show all the hackers in the audience. Traceroute, okay, when you traceroute somebody... for instance, let me do tiffanygomez.com. You'll notice, whoa, I got a bunch of actual little IP addresses. Now, this first set of IP addresses that you're looking over here, ladies and gentlemen, these 192.168, I'm going to leak those out because those are beyond my actual router. That's not public facing. If you think that you can hack me with those numbers, feel free to try, okay? I will give you $1 million if those IP addresses do anything for you. I'm not even kidding with that one. You've also got, other IP addresses that are public facing, okay? And I'm not going to leak these addresses or their names because this could go back to me. I have static IP addresses. I hate getting DDoS'd, okay? Now, the last two trace routes is exactly what this dipshit ended up getting. UnifiedLayer.com, UnifiedLayer.com. Now, this 192.185.189.181, if you copy that in real quick, open up a new tab and just drop that shit and go right to it. Whoa! Error 404 not found. If you take the same IP address and do a quick little whois lookup on it, you'll find out, whoa, it's gone to websitewelcome.com. And of course, if you look at their actual abuse department, it goes to hostgator.com. HostGator.com is actually just secure and affordable web hosting that's run out of Houston, Texas, ladies and gentlemen. So yes, this is a WordPress website hosted under, pretty accessible web hosting services. To think that you are finding some crazy conspiracy that tied back to the government is beyond me. So let's actually look further into this video, okay? What this guy alleges is apparently because we're trace routing, and at one point in the trace route, they hit A13 Edge 5. Actually, what am I doing? Let this jackass explain.
Like, when you get an address at your house, the external IP address would be like this, 50.6.131.2. Your router inside your network will put out a 192.168.1.1 address because it's a default subnet. So there's something weird going on here with this bitch. She's a plant.
So how is she a plant? Because she apparently hit Washington DC 12.level3.net. Now, of course, Washington DC 12 for some of these individuals, like this moron, was saying it's run out of Washington DC, located a couple blocks away from the White House. A little sus. Now, again, somebody has to tell them that DC is a city that contains around 7 to 8 million people, okay? Not everybody in DC is affiliated with the government. That could easily be a data center that we're looking at, ladies and gentlemen. In fact, in most cases, if you looked up level 3 communications, they're a tier 1 network, meaning that they provide core transport, IP, voice, video, content delivery for medium to large internet carriers. That makes them a fucking backbone, you dumbass, okay? That's how the internet works. See, the internet is actually just a bunch of computers and routers connected to each other. So let me explain how a traceroute works for the truth seekers in the audience, okay? This is levels of misinformation that can easily be bypassed if you took a 5-minute search on Google. See, the way that we send data packets over the internet is we give each data packet a TTL, which is time to live. Now, what this means is basically if we didn't do that, data packets would just float around on the internet infinitely, which is not good. So the way that we do it is every time we create an internet packet, we give it a time to live of, say, 64, right? Now, every time it hops from server to server to server to reach its destination, a good example will be every time you go to youtube.com. When you put youtube.com into your search bar, you're not just automatically connecting from your computer's like network card to youtube.com. No, you have to connect through your home router, any router that's past that, then other computers, other routers, other hops before you get to YouTube. So you may have something like 4 or 5 different hops. Now, a time to live in a data packet is set at 64. So meaning every time it goes to a hop, it subtracts one, point from the time to live, so to speak. So it goes from 64 to 63, and then 62, and then 61 every other hop. Or sorry, not every other, every actual hop. So the reason we have it set to 64 is if you have to do 64 hops to get to a server, there's something wrong in the chain and it needs to be addressed. So the way that a traceroute works is it actually abuses this mechanic and it sets a data packet to a TT time to live of 1, meaning that every time it goes to a server and the server says, oh, the time to live on this packet is 0, let's drop it. But as it drops the packet, it uses something known as ICMP to communicate back to the original server of its actual identity. So it tells them, hey, listen, dropped your packet, this is who I am, and then you write it down. So what your computer does when it trace routes is it then creates another packet with a time to live of 2. So it goes beyond the identified router into another router, and as you can imagine, it attempts to identify the identity of every single hop. Now the difference here is at some point, let's say that there's 5 hops, 5 servers you have to touch before you get to YouTube. There could be a good chance that server 4 decides to modify its ICMP settings and say, I'm not going to tell anybody who I am, fuck you. And so at that point, your traceroute fails because you can't identify who server 4 is. So if server 5 wanted to even tell you who they are because they didn't decide to hide who they were, because server 4 is really adamant on keeping its identity hidden, the traceroute fails right there. That's how a traceroute works. That's how we map how each packet, how one packet goes from server A to server B, and how many hops it takes in between. That's generally the best way that I can explain a traceroute. So where this idiot fails is they forget to realize that they're not connecting to a private server at somebody's house. You also can't traceroute through an email, okay? Who told you this? How is somebody's level of intellectual understanding this low, all right? You are literally posting this video to the internet with millions of people to watch, and thousands of people can explain how you're so dead wrong. So again, ladies and gentlemen, I know that I'm making a mountain out of a molehill, it seems, but this level of misinformation triggers me to an extent. Because this person really didn't prove anything, they just proved that this person hosted a data packet. And again, this individual, one of them who was retweeting this, wants to say level 3 communication was used by the NSA to spy. Dog, I hope you don't look up AT&T phone rooms, okay? The NSA, everyone spies, all right? This isn't new shit for anybody. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, to bring it all back into the situation, this lady had a mental health episode. She ends up apologizing, in my opinion, for no real reason. She only did it because, honestly, she feels some level of guilt and actual embarrassment for the situation that she put herself into. And again, I don't really think that she needs to be embarrassed for it. Like, yeah, everyone has an episode. Everyone has a bad day. But now you've got people on the internet who take every single thing and try to find some weird psyop, some weird government twist, because that's just what the internet is nowadays, okay? And I feel like this level of psyop is distracting us from actual conspiracies, one that I'll be covering tomorrow in great depth, because fuck it, why not? Ladies and gentlemen, this is a apology that the plane lady did. And I also wanted to dispel some disinformation. This is not a conspiracy. Anybody that uses, again, I specifically targeted that computer traceroute video because that's just an actual thing you can debunk in like 30 fucking seconds, okay? I wish I could record when I initially cringed at that, okay? Because parts of me died, okay? There's a part of me that died today that I'll never end up getting back. Because people on the internet are so goddamn stupid. If you feel that I was a little harsh to some people in this video, good. Ladies and gentlemen, this is me, Mutahar, and yeah, if you like what you saw, please like, comment, and subscribe. Dislike it if you dislike it. I am out.